Hi, I'm Anka Guge from ankaguge.com. Stay tuned for a video on how to get started with public speaking as an introvert. Getting started with public speaking as an introvert can be very challenging. You might suddenly feel that your throat dries up, you feel yourself blushing, you lose your train of thought completely, and altogether look cringy. I should know about it because inside I am a proper and total introvert. When people meet me now and see me give workshops or presentations, or in the past when I was performing regularly as an Indian classical dancer, people were very surprised to meet me and find out that I'm actually a very big introvert. And that is because I have learned coping techniques which help me behave in a very outgoing way when necessary. But being an introvert is something quite different. It just means that you have a different way of interacting with the people around you. And you can be outgoing, but that actually takes an energetical toll on you. And then you need some time on your own to recharge your batteries. That's all it is. I would like to tell you about the first experience I ever had with public speaking. I always remember this because it was quite memorable. I was about 15 years old. I was in high school. I grew up in Romania and I was attending a bilingual high school of English, and I had just joined the debate club for the first time ever. And they had given us an assignment to prepare beforehand, which was prepare a speech taking one of two sides. It is better to live in the countryside versus it is better to live in the city. So I chose one of those sides, and then I wrote down notes so that I know what I'm going to talk about. And when the time to give the speech came, I stood up and I felt how I'm blushing and turning proper red in color. And I actually read the speech from my notes, word by word, without lifting my eyes once from the paper because I was feeling completely mortified by the experience, even though there were less than 10 people in the classroom at that point. And at the end, um, the coordinators of the debate club told me, wow, that was a very nice essay, but you're supposed to give a speech. And that was my first experience ever. And afterwards, I started learning things and then practicing them. But I always like to remember that because, you always have to start from somewhere. And unless you are ready to fail, and you will most likely fail in the beginning, then you cannot go higher or get better at it. So you are determined to get started with public speaking, or maybe you want to record your very first YouTube video. Don't let your inner criticism hold you back from going after your dreams. In fact, don't let this time filled with uncertainty or sheer panic hold you back from dreaming and from imagining the impossible. These are difficult times to dream because if you read the news, it's enough to make you want to crawl under your bed and never come out for the next few weeks or months. But the reality is, each day is a challenge, and we have to always not only face the challenges that we are, that we encounter, but also face our own inner challenges, our own limiting beliefs. And the question is, if you could live your life without fear, what would you do? I asked myself that question some time ago, and when I stopped and wondered, I was surprised to hear a voice inside my head saying, if I had no fear, I would start my YouTube channel. I have in fact been planning to do that for quite a number of years, and every time I came up with some excuses holding me back. You can invent a lot of excuses to hold you back from what you really hope to go after. And that is because your subconscious is trying to keep you safe, to keep you from being uncomfortable. So for this year, my goal is to put myself in uncomfortable situations as often as possible. And after a while, they become less uncomfortable. And the secret here is something that I have spoken about in another video also, and that is that when you put yourself out there, whether you do public speaking or record yourself, you shouldn't focus on yourself. You should not focus on your own limitations. You have to focus on your goal. And if the goal is to serve others, to genuinely help them, then this whole process becomes one that is absolutely not cringy, one that becomes pleasant and natural and something that you actually welcome in your life, because it's like a special time which you take away from your many other responsibilities and tasks that you need to do. It is a time in which you face yourself, but also are, sharing a part of yourself with others in the hopes that it is going to help them. And I was very happy to see positive reactions from people who have seen my message in the past and who have resonated with it. Because the truth is that we can more easily face external challenges. It's easier to do that, but the whispers that happen and gather insidiously inside our head are much harder to deal with, because they usually crop up when we least expect them. Maybe when you're about to fall asleep, that's when your doubts, self-doubts, and worries and anxiety start popping up. Or maybe when you relax, there's suddenly a voice telling you that you're never good enough or you'll never be good enough. There's usually the worries and anxieties that you have very limited range. They have a few messages that they keep repeating to you over and over until you start believing them and accepting them as reality. Whereas in fact, they are really not the reality. Sometimes it may help if you actually write down these limiting beliefs or you say them out loud, because then you realize how ridiculous they are. In fact, if you were to tell them to your best friend, then you probably would hear them uttered aloud and you will realize it's really ridiculous and it could not be further from the truth. If you treat yourself with the same kindness that you would show your best friend, if you are willing to be patient and to take care of yourself and to also encourage yourself to put yourself out there, then things will start changing very dramatically and it's going to be much easier for you to start with public speaking. So what have we talked about today? How to start putting yourself out there in the public light, whether it is public speaking or recording yourself for YouTube. And how do you do that? By identifying your limiting beliefs, realizing they're not true, and then deciding to go ahead with your project anyway. I hope this has been helpful and that you enjoyed my story from long ago, which I always hold close to my heart, because when we are able to overcome our limitations, it will only make us stronger. If nobody told you they believe in you today, let me be the first to tell you. I believe in you, and I'm looking forward to see your reactions, your videos, your steps going towards the public light, of being in the public spotlight. And if you might make some mistake along the way, such as you stumble when you speak freely because you're not reading from a teleprompter, as I am doing now, I'm just speaking freely, that's okay. All that matters is that people will see your intention and that they will react to it. So I hope this was useful. Thank you so much for watching it all the way to the end. And see you next time.